Yo, welcome back everybody to a brand new video here on the second channel, and today I'm going to be talking about my run at Hartford Regionals. So Hartford Regionals was this past weekend, and I ended up getting top 32. I got 23rd place with the Arceus Duraludon Umbreon VMAX deck. I actually had a pretty good run in day one. I ended up going 7-1-1 in day one of the tournament, which was really cool. This deck is a lot of fun to play. And I really am happy with my deck choice, because actually this was even what I was going to play to Hartford Regionals. But we'll kind of talk about all that in this video. Talk about my run, talk about all my matchups, explain how the matchups went, everything, and all that good stuff. Before we do get in the video, I do want to thank you all for all the support on the content, as always, and anyone who came up to me and said hi at Hartford. I do appreciate all of y'all. A lot of people came up and got selfies with me, got me to sign something. I don't know, it's just all that stuff, and a lot of people just saying that, like, my list inspired them to, play in the tournament, or, do this, do that. I don't know. It's just awesome to hear that, and I am glad to hear that. A lot of people said that they're getting back into the game because of me, and all that stuff, it just puts a smile on my face. So I just want to thank you all once again for all the support, whoever came up at Hartford and all that good stuff. I do appreciate it. Hartford was lit. It was a lot of fun. Spent most of the week at my friend PJ's house. A couple days at PJ's, then we went down to Hartford and hung out with him for a bit. But yeah, this is the Dura Umbreon deck I played to get top 32, because originally my plan was to play Arceus Giratina with Flying Pikachu. That was going to be the original list, because I actually played that to my league challenge the Friday before, and I won the league challenge with the deck. So I was like, all right, you know what, maybe we'll just run it with Arctina. I didn't really honestly know what to play. I'm not like super invested in this format like I was with the Lugia format, where like we had options like Eternatus and Regis are two of my favorite decks from the past season, and those decks are no longer viable. So I honestly didn't really know what to do, because I didn't really know any deck that had I didn't have an identity with any deck going into this tournament, because I'm not as invested in this format as I was the last format. And Arctina was what I was going to settle on. I was probably just going to play an Arceus deck anyways. Like, I was never going to play Gardevoir or Lugia. I was always just basically sold on playing an Arceus variant. I just didn't know what build of Arceus to play. I was like, Arctina seems good. And I tested a lot of Arctina, actually, with PJ throughout the week when I was chilling with him. And the Arctina deck was doing really good. I was beating most things that PJ played. I was beating Miraidon, was beating Lost Box Kyogre, was beating Lost Box Articuno. The Flying Pikachu is really good for Lost Box. That was kind of my mindset, was if I'm going into this tournament, I want to beat Lost Box. And I was like, you know what, Flying Pikachu, Judge Path with Arctina beats Lost Box. But then a lot of the people that I was hanging out with, especially Zach Lesage and Joe Turrentine, they were all on the Dura Umbreon deck, and they kind of like convinced me, by talking about the deck and how it plays and stuff. They convinced me to try it out. So I tried it the night before, tested it a bit, and I was impressed. I was like, oh, this deck's actually pretty good. Like, when I was realizing each little play that the deck was making, the deck actually ended up doing better in testing than I had thought. And honestly, you know what? I was kind of sold on it. The idea of, like, one-hit KOing Gardevoirs with Umbreon, hitting Mew for weakness, using Duraludon against Lugia, because that was the one issue I had with the Arctina deck, was the Lugia matchup was very shaky. Even though you do have Judge Path and a Flying Pikachu, Lugia is very difficult, because Lugia can use Urshifu VMAX against you. If they get Summoning Star off, you probably will lose the game, because I think they can win the prize trade, especially with that VMAX. And Tyranitar and Stonejourner are still very present threats. So honestly, I wasn't really confident with the deck into Lugia, and I was like, I kind of want to be Lugia too. I don't want to just like Arctina's cool and all, but I'm not going to hit, 9 Lost Box decks. So I was like, all right, we're just going to go Dura Umbreon. And this is the list I used. I did make a few changes. I don't have Adventurous Discovery in the deck, as you can see. I said this on stream. I was actually on stream for I think it was round 8. Yeah, it was round 8, I think I went on stream with this deck. And I won against Miraidon Regieleki, which was a very scary matchup for this deck. Won the game. And in the interview with Chip, I even said, I'm like, yeah, I cut the discoveries out of the deck because I just wanted to put more draw on the deck. I do not want a brick. The problem with this deck is, this deck does not play a draw engine. All it has is a Lumineon. So, like, you don't have Bibarel, you don't have Genesect V, you don't have Kirlia, you don't have Comfey, you don't have Radiant Greninja. You have no draw engine. So, if you're playing, like, 2 Colress, 2 Judge, 2 Research, 2 Discovery, you're probably not going to draw that many cards in a game. And I did not want to be in a scenario where that ended up coming up. So I cut a lot of the techie cards, and I just just maxed out the supporter consistency. I play 4 Colress, 3 Judge, 2 Research, just draw. And you know what? It was really good. I didn't really feel like Adventure Discovery was missed that much. There were times where I'm like, okay, if I had Discovery in hand, I would be in a great spot right now. But for the most part, being able to just draw cards constantly just honestly felt really, really good. Being able to use Colress. The idea behind playing 4 Colress over 4 Research is there's so many one-of supporters in this deck, like Karen and Volo and Boss. A lot of the time, you just want to play Colress and just build up a hand by using a couple Colresses, and you can do that and just, use Colress, grab a Karen or a Volo off of it, have it in your hand. Instead of researching your hand away constantly, if you're researching and you have to discard Volo Karen, it feels pretty bad. Though Research is still just an insane supporter, so I'm still playing 2 of them. And obviously, 3 Judge, mainly here for the Lost Box matchup. This deck is pretty good against Lost Box. I mean, the idea against Lost Box is you just go Arceus Dura. You might use Alakazam if they use Dragonite V against you. Use Alakazam. The idea behind Alakazam and Hawlucha is that Hawlucha and Alakazam synergize really well with Arceus' attack. Arceus' attack can do 210 damage with a belt and a double turbo, right to a V. If you play Alakazam and Hawlucha, if you go Hawlucha and then Alakazam at damage to their active with the belt on the Arceus, you're doing 220 damage. And you're knocking out Vs. You're KOing other Arceuses. You're KOing Lugias with a V-Guard on. Pretty good stuff, and you're KOing Zacian Vs too, which is really good. There's even plays where you can hit a Zacian V for 210 with an Arceus, and if it never gets pennied and it goes to the bench, you can just drop a Hawlucha and knock it out, which is really cool. Or you can, drop a Radiant Alakazam and, knock it out if they, Gardevoir that turn or something. So, really cool plays can be made with Hawlucha Alakazam. Honestly, I didn't have any games where I pulled off the 220 damage Trinity Nova turn 2 KO. That never happened, but the Hawlucha did win me a game or 2 against Gardevoir, which is pretty good. That's the idea behind that. The Umbreon, obviously, is really good. Umbreon has the ability, when you evolve it, you can gust your opponent up. So you bench the Umbreon, evolve it, and then you bring something up on the bench in the active if you want. And this is really good. You can just chase stuff. You can bring out V Pokemon that can be one-hit KO'd by Duraludon. You can bring in, Gardevoir EX to be KO'd by Umbreon if it's already built up. You can bring in Zacian V to knock out. There's so many plays you can make with the Umbreon. The Umbreon is insane in the deck, and that's why this deck only plays 1 boss. So Zach Lesage, who is a teammate of mine, his list was a lot of one-of supporters. He was playing 1 Research, 1 Boss, 1 Raihan, 1 Charon's Care, 1 Volo, 1 Karen. And I was like, nah, bro, I'm doing more supporters. I'm playing more draw than you are. But I did like the idea of just having the 1 boss. And the 1 boss actually did feel kind of bad. There were so many games where I was like, bro, this deck needs to play 2 boss. So, I don't know, looking back, this deck definitely should have maybe played 2 boss. Honestly, though, there's really nothing to cut for the second boss. But this deck probably would like to play a second boss's order. I'm not going to lie. Having the 1 boss felt kind of awkward sometimes. There was even a game on stream in game number 1 when I had Lumineon in hand, and basically I had game. If boss was in the deck, I had game. The problem is I couldn't remember if I had boss in deck. That's why I played the full art boss, because I wanted to make sure that boss was, it was like when I'm looking through my deck, I know I have boss because I can recognize the full art. You know what I mean? So that's why I played the full art boss, and I was like, I don't know, I forget if boss is in the deck or not. The last turn in the game on stream, I benched Lumineon, and I'm like, I don't remember if boss is actually in the deck or not. It might be my last 2 prizes, but it was in the deck. So, yeah, I don't know. 2 boss probably is the way to go with this deck over the 1, because you have Umbreon, but I don't know. But yeah, Volo is really good too. Volo won me multiple games. Volo discards one of your bench V Pokemon, so you basically just, something takes a hit or they boss something, you just Volo it off the board. Against Lost Box, if they go Dragonite you just put that Pokemon on the bench, Volo it off the board, and then just reset their damage. Pretty sick stuff. Lost City's really good too against Lost Box too. So Lost Box is a pretty decent matchup for this deck specifically. And the Single Strike Energy is really cool. Yes, Single Strike Energy does not work with Arceus V-Star, but what it does do is it allows your Umbreon and Dura to do more damage. And Dura can actually hit really good numbers with the Single Strike Energy, and the Umbreon can go from 140 with a double turbo to 160 with a double turbo, which is enough to KO Mew VMAXs and Gardevoirs in 1 hit. And Dura can also do even more damage. There's times where you can go Single Strike Energy Belt on Dura to do 270 damage, and then if you have damage on the board already, you can Alakazam to do 280 damage with a Duraludon, which is just bonkers. And yeah, this is the list I used. Again, got top 32. Really proud of my performance. I am so happy I played this deck, because it was more of a last-minute decision, because, again, I was sold on Arctina all weekend, and then, like, last minute I switched to this deck, tested it, and I'm like, all right, you know what? We're going with it. I'm happy I played this deck. I'm probably going to do a video on my main channel on the deck, even though I think literally today's video I just posted was an Arceus Duraludon video, even though that was pre-recorded a while ago. But let's take a look here at my tournament run. So go here. So yeah, this is my tournament run here on PokeStats Live. So round number 1, I played against Christopher Long, who I think I gotta add that here. He was playing Miraidon Flaffy. Yeah, he was on the Miraidon deck. So round 1 I played against Miraidon. Honestly, this matchup is kind of scary, because if they knock out an Arceus V before you can build up a Duraludon, you probably are screwed. Not only that, they have the Raichu V, and if that Raichu V gets loaded up, that thing can also KO your Duraludon. So this matchup was really, really scary. Pretty sure I lost game number... I think I lost game 1, I won game 2, and then I think I won game 3. Game 3 came down to my opponent whiffing the Choice Belt off of a Research, I think, or it was a Serene. It was one of the two. He whiffed the Choice Belt for a game, and I ended up winning. It was very close. Miraidon is a scary matchup of this deck, man. Then I played against Alex Hamilton round 2. Pretty cool dude. He was a fan, so shout out to Alex. But yeah, Alex was really cool. He was playing the Lugia deck. Pretty intense match. Lugia is, like, weird, because I know I beat every Lugia deck I played against in the tournament, but, like, this matchup is still kind of sketchy. One, sometimes you have to overbench to play around, like, Gust KOs, which means down the road, your opponent can also Gust KO you, even if you do manage to get rid of their Urshifu VMAX and get the Duraludon in play. But I think I won game 1, lost game 2, won game 3, or it was a 2-0. I honestly can't remember a lot of how my matches, like, how the games went in terms of winning, but I'm pretty sure we did three games here with me and Alex. Pretty good player, and it was a close one for sure. Like, Lugia is still scary. A lot of the time you're playing chicken versus that Urshifu V, and you want to kill the Urshifu V. If you're able to knock out the Urshifu V with Duraludon VMAX, and you get a Lost City down, on the off chance you're playing against a Lugia deck with a Thornton, you're chilling. So yeah, round number 3 was against Jeffrey, who was playing the Gardevoir deck. This was a very quick cleanup. Both games 1 and 2 went very quick. He unfortunately was not able to get that good of starts. I don't even think he found Battle VIP turn 1 either game and had access to Mew. Like, I'm pretty sure he just was not drawing very well. Like, his draws were really bad, and I capitalized on that and just ran him over with, like, Umbreon VMAX and stuff. And then round number 4 playing against Charlie Lockyer, really good player. I was very nervous, but we ended up tying. He was playing Gardevoir. We went to game 3, and we ended up tying the game up. I honestly can't remember if it was close or not. But it was scary. The Gardevoir matchup is still a little tricky, even though you'd have, like, Umbreon and Dura. Like, if Gardevoir, like, knocks out your Arceus V on, like, the second turn of the game because they get the nuts with the Zacian, it is very bad. And the matchup is still scary. With Skysteel Stone, too, Skysteel Stone is an annoying problem for this deck, because they can go knock out Arceus V and then KO a Duraludon or Umbreon with a Zacian Skysteel Stone. It's tough sometimes. So that's one thing that makes the Guardy matchup kind of tricky. Then I played against Frank, another really good player, round number 5 on the Lugia deck. I think Frank had some pretty unfortunate draws in some of his games. Like, I remember, yeah, some of his draws weren't that good. He had a lot of, like, misses. I think he had a few awkward hands. And, yeah, Duraludon just kind of did his thing. He did put up a good fight, though, even though I was able to get, like, Lone Dura, because I had to keep benching Pokemon to kind of keep up the pace. And I had to put an Umbreon in play because I wanted to make sure I could Gust the Urshifu up. So it got close for sure. I ended up winning round number 5. It was awkward, though, because I won the game, and I accidentally knocked over my drink it was on the floor, not on the table, but on the floor. I got up after I signed the match slip, knocked over my drink, and it spilt on the floor. Felt really bad, so I ran to the bathroom to get a paper towel to clean it off. It was an awkward interaction, I know, but I just felt bad because, like, I spilled my drink all over the floor. I'm like, I'm going to go clean that up right now before I spin my match slip. Round number 6 was against Riley McKay. Another fellow Canadian. He was also playing the Arceus deck, so it was a mirror match. Honestly, I did not know how the mirror match was going to go. I think he 2-0'd me. No. So game 1, he had a really bad start. He started Umbreon V attach pass, and then on his second turn, he Colressed and did not get a basic off of a Colress somehow, and then basically I just knocked him out turn 2 with Arceus Belt. And then he won game 2 and 3. Game 3 was really close, though. I think I would have won the game if he didn't have Boss in hand. But yeah, the mirror match is kind of weird. I honestly don't know how to navigate it. Riley said that he really likes the match, and he knows how to play it really well. He enjoys it. I don't know, man. I didn't like the Arc Mirror at all. I thought the Arc Dura Mirror is really, really weird. I did not enjoy it. Thankfully, that was the only one I hit in the entire tournament. Next, because there's a lot of them doing well, especially at my record specifically. Then round number 7 was against Christian Moreno, who's playing Lugia, and again, just, you know, I'm pretty sure he prized Urshifu in one of the games, but I didn't see the Urshifu until the third or the second game. Or did we go to game 3? I can't remember if we went to game 2 or 3. I can't remember. But either way, I did win. And I'm pretty sure, like, for 2 of the games, I didn't see the Urshifu at all. I didn't think he played it, because, like, there was a point where, like, he had the opportunity to, like, grab Urshifu so many times, and he never grabbed it. So I'm like, is he not playing the Urshifu in the deck? But eventually it did reveal itself, but it was too late for it to matter. Round number 8 was against Kevin Murphy. This was the stream game. So if you want to go watch the stream game, just look up Little Dark Fairy Hartford or Matthew Wood Hartford, whatever. You can find the stream game if you want. I was hyped to be on stream again. I'm annoyed, though, bro. I was wearing a Pokemon shirt that was by Bathing Ape, and I really wanted another Pokemon stream shirt because I want to collect them. I only have 2 blue ones, and I want more colors. And because I was wearing the shirt, the Bape shirt, they were like, nah, it's good. And apparently the Bape shirt was okay to have on stream because it was a Pokemon Bape shirt. It had, like, the Kanto starters on it. I was like, oh, I wanted a stream shirt. I did win on stream, though. It was against Miraidon Regieleki VMAX. Again, a pretty tough matchup, mainly because, well, okay, it's not tough. It's bad if they donk your Arceus V before you build up energy. You should be fine if you set up. And he opened Klefki game 1. I actually didn't know what I was playing against. He started Klefki. I'm like, am I playing against Guardy Mewtwo? But yeah, it was Miraidon. And game 1, actually, the Klefki screwed him over. It prevented him from being able to do Tandem Unit, which helped a lot. If you want to go watch the stream, definitely go watch it. It was a pretty good set, actually. Game 2, he literally, like, donked me, and then I think I just bricked, and I conceded quickly. And then game 3 was very cool. Game 3 was a weird game. I kind of had a bit of a bricky hand, too. But I ended up setting up an Umbreon, and I used Karen's Conviction to win me, not win me the game, but it did win me the game. So I used Karen at one point to knock out a Raikou with an Umbreon VMAX, because he already took a Duraludon out, a Duraludon V down. So I did 200 damage with Umbreon to kill a Raikou, which was probably, like, the thing that put me in a winning position, because then I had game in hand. And then I think I had a checkmate scenario set up where I had a Raihan Umbreon VM play, and if he killed my active Umbreon VMAX, I would go Raihan to grab a Choice Belt, and then drop the Umbreon VMAX down, and then Gust a Raikou, because he had another Raikou in play. So I probably was winning game 3, but it was a really cool set. Kevin was awesome. It was a really cool dude to play against. Really enjoyed the stream game there. Again, if you want to go watch it, go watch the stream back or something. And then round 9, I played against my good friend Hamza. Hamza is a very, very old friend of mine. I know him from way back in the early days when I started playing this game. He was a good friend of mine. So I was kind of like, oh no, I'd have to hit Hamza. But thankfully we did win the set. It was honestly, this might be the best set of games I had in the entire 15 rounds in this tournament. This is literally, it might have been the best games I've had in the entire tournament. It was a very, very good set. I think I won game 1, he won game 2, and then game 3 was close. So how I won game 3 was, it got to a point where I looked a Zacian V in the active spot with a single strike energy on, because he tried to stall my Umbreon in the active spot, knowing I was out of switch. Oh, no, wait. I think I had 1 switch and, like, 1 double turbo left. So the Umbreon was going to be stuck in the active, and he basically was trying to get to a point where he could boss and then win the game, because he palpatted the Gust back. So he trapped an Umbreon. But I was able to, I think I judged into a single strike energy, and I single strike energied the Umbreon, and I looked the Zacian for 50. So this 50 damage made it so that, because he had to take 3 prizes to win. The look meant that his Zacian could not take damage from Gardevoir to knock out anything on the bench, because of the 50 damage that was on it, right? Because he can't Gardevoir to it enough times to one-hit KO Sling on the bench. So that was really huge. And look also prevents him from retreating, and he no longer had Penny in the deck anymore. Meaning that I stalled the Zacian now because Gardevoir plays no switch at all, and I just looked until I found the win condition. I think I Colressed into the combo to win the game, because I also needed to get an Umbreon to win the game, because I had no way to one and kill the Zacian, I don't think, but I think I got the Umbreon VMAX up like a Colress, and then I was able to win the game from there. Very good set with my boy Hamza, and I'm glad to see that he did well in the tourney too. And then day 2, baby, let's go. So we made it to day 2 with a 7-1-1 record, which was insane. There was a lot of Canadians doing well. Literally, the person that I came with got 8th place, or top 8 in the tournament. Yeah, so that's kind of funny. But there's a lot of Canadians doing well going into day 2. And then, yeah, round number 1 in day 2 was against Andrew Estrada, another friend of mine who's a fellow Canadian. Andrew Estrada is really good at the game. He's literally like the world champion in 2014. And he also got top 8 in Worlds in last year. So I was scared. I was like, oh, Andrew's good, man. But he was a friend of mine, someone that I know from a long time ago, too. He was on Lost Box, the turbo build with the Dragonite, not the Kyogre though. He had Sky Steel Stone, which did win him a game, but we ended up tying the setup. He won game 1, I won game 2, and then game 3 was unfortunate that I bricked game 1. I bricked in game 3, and literally if I didn't draw into a single way to either, if I didn't draw into a way to get a Pokemon down, I would have lost and we wouldn't have not gotten the tie. Thankfully, I drew another Arceus and we went to time, so that was nice. And then we tied. And then round 11 was against Mark Morallo, playing the Mew deck. Another really cool dude. He was actually a friend. He was in one of the friend groups I was chilling with. And he was on Mew. And I thought Mew was honestly a fine matchup. But I had some unfortunate beats in these 2 games against Nicholas and Mark. So Nicholas did win game 1. I won game 2 because I think I just kind of like got a really good setup really fast. And he just kind of got, like, I think I just overwhelmed him too quickly. And then he just scooped. And then we went to game 3. And game 3, he bodied me. And Mark was kind of like a similar situation. I won game 1, he won game 2, and then he won game 3. And that was just bad. Because I had some awkward beats, man. There were some games where, like, I either didn't get an Arceus V, or I didn't get an energy. So I get an Arceus, no energy. Go first, no Arceus no energy for the Arceus. Go first, no way to get an Arceus to go with the energy. That's how it went. And you need the momentum against Mew. And when I eventually would get the Umbreon VMAX out to KO something, they would always just go triple tablet belt, 1-hit KO the Umbreon VMAX. Unfortunate that maybe Fusion Mew is not as good as I thought it would be. Good thing it wasn't, or double turbo Mew, sorry. Fusion Mew was a bad matchup. And then round 13 was against William Crawford, another Lugia deck. This one was a really cool set. Me and him were just kind of chatting a bit. And yeah, it was a pretty decent matchup. Overall, again, Lugia felt pretty decent. He did have the Urshifu, but thankfully, once you get rid of it, the Duraludon just kind of sweeps. And then round 14 was against Goof GG. Felt really bad, though. So this set actually ended in a very unfortunate manner. So he won game 1. I won game 2. The problem is, because game 2, I did a really cool play where I roped. He brought in the Zacian V. I hit it with Arceus for 210 with a belt on. Then the following turn, when he retreated the Zacian into a Celebrations Mew, I dropped the Halucha, knocked out Zacian. I had a 3-prize turn, and then he just like scooped because it's like, okay, good game. So he scooped really quickly. Unfortunately, so this is unfortunate. I felt really bad. So he was doing discards for his energy, and he was putting them off to the side in his discard pile to kind of like organize so we would know how many energies he's got in his discard pile. And going into game 3, he forgot to shuffle 5 energy into his deck, and we already set up the game, and he was like playing battle VIPs and stuff. And I looked over and I was like, wait, where'd that energy come from? And then I'm like, oh no, I think he forgot to shuffle. And yeah, he forgot to shuffle. And neither of us noticed it until like the game already started, which is so unfortunate. So he got a game lost because it was a broken board state. We were like literally already set up and everything. He played like a couple search cards already, and we were already deep into we were already starting into game 1, and it was too late to fix anything. So unfortunately, he got the game lost. So didn't really get like a win-win there, but it is what it is. Round 15 was against Raymond Miranda, another really awesome opponent. He was playing Sableye Cramsard. Bro, he was playing lightning fast, bro. He was playing Turbo Lost Box without Turbo in it, bro. He was playing really, like, dude, he was doing rapid fire Comfies and Chloruses. It's insane. His pace of play was actually ridiculous. It was nuts. And he was playing really good. It's not like he was, like, playing really bad with, like, how fast he was doing his actions. He was playing really good. He was making all the right decisions with each Flower Sect and Chloris. It was insane, dude. He was playing lightning fast. And we were chatting too. We were having a good time. I won game 1 because Lost City was just kind of the MVP in that game. And then game 2, he almost won the game, but his fire energy to win the game was prized. He cross-switched to Duraludon V. So my board state was Umbreon V, Duraludon V. I was bricking and couldn't get a VMAX in play to save my life. I think if I had 2 VMAXs in play, I would have won the game fine. But I had no VMAX in play at all in the entire game. So I had an Umbreon V and a Dura V on the bench. Both powered up. And he cross-switchered the Duraludon V, promoted the Charizard, and I'm like, you got it? And then he attached a Choice Belt, and then attached a second energy, and was like, go. And I was like, no. And then he just flipped over his prize, and like, yeah, look, the fire's prized. So I was like, okay, fair enough. So yeah, it was a decent set. Sableye Cramsard's a fine matchup for this deck because of like Lost City and Volo being pretty clutch in the matchup. And then that ended off my run at a 10-3-2 record, getting 23rd place in the tournament with Arc-Dura Umbreon. Really proud of my performance. I think I played pretty well throughout the weekend. I'm not going to lie, though. In game 12, 11, and even a bit of 13, I was kind of making some weird misplays. I think against Mark, I made a misplay where I should have promoted my Arceus V, retreated, because I had a Dark Energy on, and then I had a Raihan in hand, so I did make a weird misplay there. I think I was losing the game anyways, looking back. I think he had game anyways, but I don't know. I made a few misplays in round 11 and 12, but probably because I was, like, a little tilted. The deck started to fall apart. Like, my draws were not as good, and I was not getting the Arceus starts that I wanted, like I would start day 1. And I kind of was starting to get a little tilted. Like in round 13, I was kind of like, I was ready to check out. And then thankfully I won. And then after round 14, even though it was an unfortunate way to end the set, I felt really bad. Goof already had his Worlds invite, which was nice. So it was like, okay. But still felt bad. But I was feeling good. I'm like, okay, if I win one more game, I have a chance of getting top 32. And then thankfully we won in round 15. But I don't know, proud of the deck. The deck is honestly really good. This is a really, really strong deck in my opinion. Yeah, this deck is really, really strong in my opinion. I don't know if it'll be good going into Milwaukee, but definitely seems like it might be good going into Milwaukee. I don't really know what beats it other than Fusion Mew. Fusion Mew is like its worst matchup and Miraidon. Miraidon and Fusion Mew seem to be your worst matchups. Any deck that can kill your Arceus V before you turn to an Arceus V star, and because if you go first and they knock you out on their first turn of the game, that's where things get sketchy. So the deck's really cool. Glad I got top 32. I think it was really cool to make it, and I am super excited with my performance and really happy that I got there. Thanks for watching the video and my tournament report. I'm going to probably do a video on the deck on the main channel. Why not? That'll be for me. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you on another video. And if you haven't subbed to the second channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and see y'all later. Bye-bye.